Hello, I'm Keith Johnston from Cultivating Leadership, and in this video I want to talk about how it is that we might organise and lead meetings that are dealing with complex challenges. Complexity is a different thing from the predictable world. In complex situations and complex challenges, there are so many variables at play that there's no right answer to be found. And so a lot of our approaches that we use in meetings, which is to try to get to the right answer or the right policy, just causes great frustration when we're working in complexity because we're chasing our tails trying to find something that doesn't exist. And instead, we want to understand the breadth of the issue more and to be able to try out things and learn as we go. Sam Kainer has got a little model about how we meet where he talks about how we diverge. We sort of head outwards from each other in a meeting and we explore different things, and then we come back and converge, and as a group we arrive at some sort of resolution or decision. And all of our meetings, or all of the topics we discuss in our meetings, have this diverging, converging dynamic to them. One of the challenges in complexity often is because we want to get things done, we want to get on, we converge early on something. We're having a discussion about something and we come to an answer because we want to nail it down and move forward. And in complexity terms, this is called premature convergence. And what it means is that we converge too early on the decision, and then that decision bounces off. And then we converge again, and then that next decision bounces off, and so it goes on, and it causes a whole lot of frustration inside our teams and our organizations. In the predictable realm, what we're looking to do is we're looking to get to a destination. We can name that destination. We can say, look, we want this new road built and finished and opened by this time in 2021, and we can develop a project plan for it. We can have a series of milestones, and we can do some really useful planning to get us there. But that's complicated. It's a difficult challenge, but we can bring all the pieces together and have a fair degree of confidence on when we can reach that destination. In complexity, we don't have that kind of confidence because there isn't a right answer to be found. So instead of having a destination, what we need to have is a direction. We need to be going somewhere. We may want to reduce the level of obesity in our community, for example, because of all the health impacts at an individual level and at a whole societal level. But we can't say, we're going to have that result by that time, because we can't have any confidence in that because we don't know how people are going to respond and interact. And so what we're looking for there is to have an overall direction and then to try out a whole lot of things and learn as we go and become more and more focused as we go on. So if we're running a meeting, then the topic is largely about something predictable that we're trying to work out. We're going to be, as a leader, I'm going to be trying to achieve more convergence more often. And if I'm running a meeting where we're trying to explore a complex topic, the challenge is to try and hold us to be exploring more, to hold things open, to enable people to diverge more. And often we find that very uncomfortable and it seems like a waste of time and we're going in circles. But the value comes from getting the range of perspectives out there and seeing how we might take different ideas forward and explore them. So how might we do that? And we've got 5 suggestions here for ways that it's helpful, things to focus on that are helpful for when we meet in complexity. The first thing is to what we call set the compass. And by that we mean having the overall direction in mind. It might be the overall direction that we're trying to work on over many years, reducing obesity levels, for example, or it might be in this particular meeting we want to go in this direction. It's helpful to be able to describe that, to make sure that people are aligned with that, and away we go. The second suggestion is that we want to listen to each other in a way that we're learning from each other. In many of our conversations, what we do is I'll say X, and somebody else will say, no, that's not right. They might even be trying to reassure me. I might say, oh, I made a terrible job making this video. And they say, oh, no, that wasn't too bad, But they're kind of either listening to win, or they might be saying, oh, well, if you'd given more examples here, that would have been helpful. And so they're kind of what I'd say listening to fix. Listening to win, listening to fix are our go-to listening responses. Instead, with listening to learn, we want to hear what the other people are saying and be able to describe it back to them so that we can kind of agree on the data that people are bringing and the sense they're making of it, and the ways I might have different data and different sense. We can build a common understanding from which we can then carry things forward. And so as part of that, the third suggestion is we want to attend to assumptions. We want to look and go, so I'm feeling that I'm really afraid in this circumstance. I'm afraid this isn't going to work. I think this whole thing's going to fall over because I think people will be too reactive in response to this proposal. And you might be coming at it from the point of view that you've got real optimism and real hopes that people are going to be able to rally around something. And if we can identify that difference in our assumptions, we can then go, okay, so what might we do about that? How might we take this difference forward? How might we use it constructively to be able to build a more robust proposal? The fourth of these suggestions is to disagree to develop. Often when we disagree in meetings, we do one of two things. Either we fight about it. We use the disagreement to strengthen my sense that I'm righteously right and you're grievously wrong, and that feels comfortable to me. Or we feel uncomfortable about the disagreement, and so we pretend that we're actually really in agreement here. We find the one thing, we go, yeah. What I think here is that Keith's really in agreement with me on this, and we find the one thing I've said that might remotely connect to your idea, and we go out of the room, and then we go our separate ways, and we talk in the corridors and about what a moron that other person is. That's an exaggeration, of course, but in general, we're either trying to disagree to win or to actually try and paper over the disagreement. Disagreeing to develop says, wow, that's really useful. Look, we've got 3 different views on this. How about we go and what might we try out here to learn about the situation, and so we can come back together with some different experiences, some data, and we can take things forward. And our disagreement is a really helpful thing to us. And so as a leader in that conversation, I want to be able to hold that disagreement to enable it to provide productive ideas and discussions for it. In complexity, difference is our friend. And so we want to enable disagreement to be there in the room. And finally, our final suggestion is rough is ready. And this is a kind of plea, really. In complexity, having the perfect piece of analysis is not really that useful. Something quicker and dirtier is more productive because it enables us to take ideas forward. Similarly, having the glorious slide deck is not the time put into that is not worthwhile when what we can be doing is interacting with each other and taking ideas forward together. So try within our organizations to encourage a level of roughness when we're dealing in complexity. Sure, when we go into other situations, we need to have things nailed down and perfect, but like this video, a certain level of kind of crudity is really useful for taking things forward. So that's just a suggestion. Set the compass, listen to learn, attend to assumptions, disagree to development. Rough is ready. Let's get on, explore and experiment and take things forward. Thanks.